Cody, you're getting ready to coach your first Wyoming-Montana All-Star basketball series. I know you played in this state over in Evanston a while back. I guess, what are your thoughts just kind of knowing what you do know about the Wyoming-Montana All-Star series just in general?
Yeah, so like you said, I grew up and played for Evanston High School, and it was always known that the best players got to play in this game. And then after quite a few years, I came back and started coaching at Sheridan as an assistant coach, and I've helped Coach Matt Hammer the past few years with it. And it's just been a great event. It's, our northern neighbors, Montana, they bring their best players and we bring ours. And it's just kind of a fun game to get together and play. But we also treat it as kind of a college setting. We look at what the other team's doing. We make adjustments. We kind of put in some structure and try to make it as college-like as possible. So it's really a fun, competitive atmosphere and something that I always look forward to every year.
Well, talk a little bit about the roster that you do have in terms of the guys that kind of make this roster up. What are your thoughts about the guys that you'll be working with here in the next few days, getting ready for Friday and Saturday?
So I'm excited about the roster. They get in today here in a few hours. We have 7 4A guys, a 3A, a 2A, and a 1A. And I think everyone, number 1 through 10, are solid players. And I think almost every one of them has a college option to go play after this. So very talented team. Our size is great. We have 4 or 5 guys that are 6'4", 6'5", and then we even have Hudda Curry from Laramie. He's a 6'8" kid. So that's kind of been an issue in the past a little bit, is just matching up with Montana's size. But I think this year, with all those players over 6'4", we're going to possibly be the bigger team this year and be able to kind of dictate what a few things we do on the court.
Talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing in preparation. This is kind of a whirlwind process. You mentioned you've been helping out the last couple of years as kind of an assistant. What is it like to try and put together different players that are not used to playing together with each other and kind of mold them together? What is that process like, and what will you be looking for in your preparations?
It's a quick process. We get them in today. We have about an hour-long practice, just kind of get a feel for each other. Put in a little bit of structure. You putting in quite a few offenses, putting in a continuity offense is pretty tough in less than an hour. But we try to build a little bit of structure, and then tonight we'll scrimmage Campbell County High School, and that's really where I get the best feel for who plays well together, what are some of our strengths on the court, what might we do this weekend. So we'll play that scrimmage tonight. Tomorrow, Thursday, we'll come in. We'll have 2 practices, and that's really when we start putting in more structure, when we start figuring out, okay, this player's great at this one plays better with this player, and so on. So Thursday is really kind of the work day. We'll scrimmage Sheridan High School on Thursday night, and then Friday just kind of a pregame practice, walk through some of the stuff we put in, and then travel up to Billings and hopefully get a win up there.
What are your thoughts about the Montana team that you will be facing?
I know that every year, no matter where they come from, they have a ton of talent. And every year they have a few guys that are going to Montana or Montana State, and even some players that are going to Rocky Mountain, Carroll, all those sort of things. So they have a ton of players to pick from. They have, bigger cities. They have Billings, Missoula, Helena, Bozeman. They have those bigger areas. So regardless of who they bring down, they're going to be tough. We've lost 14 straight to Montana, so it's not like we're looking at them going, oh, we're going to win this game. It's kind of how are we going to win this game, and what do we need to do this? And I just think that this year we have a great shot at getting a win.
You mentioned that streak, and I didn't really want to touch on it, but I did want to ask you maybe some keys that maybe you've taken away from the last couple of years that you really feel like are going to be big in terms of trying to play well together this weekend.
I think the biggest thing is I think a lot of it has to do with conditioning. When the players come in, they've lost a little bit of conditioning from the season because we've always seemed to be right there with Montana until probably the last 5-7 minutes of the game. So just closing out strong, possibly saving a few timeouts for the end of the game, catch our breath, those sort of things, because we're not going to get our players in shape in a few days, and I don't want to run our guys and kill their legs before the game. So conditioning isn't going to improve, but how we use those timeouts, how we use the stoppages of play, how we use substitutions late in the game may be a key, because every year we're right there with them, and in the last 5 minutes or so, Montana pulls away.
That is Sheridan men's basketball coach Cody Ball. He will be coaching the Wyoming All-Stars as the boys take on Montana. Those games are at 7:30, both Friday in Billings, Montana, and Saturday at the Golden Dome in Sheridan.